One of our top stories this morning, the Montana Supreme Court held oral arguments in Missoula Friday in the case of Espinoza v. Montana Department of Revenue. The case revolves around a rule from the Department of Revenue which bans use of statewide scholarship tax credits for those who attend faith-based private schools. The roots of the argument go back to the formation of the state constitution in 1972 and its inclusion of a controversial Blaine Amendment, which opponents claim has its roots in religious bigotry that has been challenged in other states. Arguing for the Department of Revenue, Attorney Dan White contrasted Montana's constitution with those in other states.
Many of those say no direct funds may come out of the Treasury to be appropriated, similar things like that. Montana is very unique in that it's not just a question of appropriations or direct payments. It says that specifically shall not make any direct or indirect appropriation or payment from any public funds or money. So we've got an indirect that's different than many states, and we've got public funds or monies that's different from other states.
Arguing on behalf of parents from Stillwater Christian School was attorney William Mercer, who claimed the Department of Revenue was reading the Constitution incorrectly, especially when compared to the way things worked in 1972 when it was actually written.
The department wants the court to believe that in 1972, the founders decided that there couldn't be any sort of support through a tax credit program. And yet we know that there were deductions that were available to taxpayers for contributions to not only religious colleges, but foundations that would support K-12 education in the state of Montana.
The Supreme Court justices asked questions and received responses from both sides, but have not yet released their decision on that matter. One of two men accused of raping a woman who was intoxicated and unconscious in Montana last fall has pleaded guilty to felony sexual intercourse without consent. The Bozeman Daily Chronicle reports Herberto Bobadilla, who's a citizen of Mexico, pleaded guilty before Judge John Brown in Gallatin County District Court last week. The 28-year-old Bobadilla was arrested in August along with 35-year-old Alex Romero after a woman reported being sexually assaulted by the two at a residence in Big Sky. Romero is also facing a felony sexual intercourse without consent charge. He has pleaded not guilty and is scheduled to go on trial in August. Bobadilla remains in the Gallatin County Jail pending his sentencing. Missoula County Attorney's Office filed 16 new criminal complaints this past week, including 2 assault with a weapon charges against a woman accused of striking 2 pedestrians with her vehicle near Chief Charlos Elementary School. That was just one of many assault cases handled by the county.
There were 2 partner family member assaults. In one, a 19-year-old woman allegedly assaulted her mother, and in the other, a young man allegedly assaulted his father. There was an assault with a weapon case and 1 sexual intercourse without consent complaint filed.
That, of course, Kirsten Pabst, Missoula County Attorney, who said there was also a handful of property crimes, including 2 substantial theft cases.
One of the thefts involved the allegation that the person was in possession of a stolen vehicle. There was an exploitation of an elder person complaint filed, and the allegation there is that the defendant took $2,500 or so from an elderly man that she was caring for. And there was a criminal mischief and obstructing case as well. There were a couple of endangerment cases.
There were also a number of drug cases, mostly methamphetamine related. The most high profile resulted in a vehicle chase through Missoula that ended near the intersection of Brooks and Russell at Tremper Shopping Center, but then turned into a foot chase. Lake County Sheriff Don Bell said Friday that 29-year-old fugitive Richard Anthony Davis was apprehended and taken into custody last week in Ronan.
He had been in several pursuits, and at one point he had crashed a vehicle, left his girlfriend hurt, I believe with a broken leg inside there in the vehicle, and fled from there and rendered no aid for her. And then he was suspect in several major burglaries here.
Bell said 2 search warrants were executed in Polson.
We set up surveillance and end up apprehending him Wednesday, and through interview with him did acquire information to where some of this other stolen property was and where drugs were located. So we executed 2 warrants yesterday and did confiscate drugs and stolen property at one location and drugs and drug paraphernalia at the other location.
Bell said Davis is in custody of the Lake County Jail and will appear today at Justice Court. The investigation continues. A former U of M student charged with accountability for deliberate homicide has been released pending his trial in a convenience store shooting. Ivory Bren was jailed on $1 million bond. However, his attorney asked a judge last week to allow the 19-year-old to be supervised at his parents' home. Prosecutors have said surveillance video shows 18-year-old Chase Monson shooting a customer in the back and head early March 6th. Monson then shot the clerk in the shoulder. Court records say Bryn sprayed both with pepper spray. Both men survived. Bryn has pleaded not guilty. The Missoulian reports Bryn was ordered to wear a GPS monitor and abide by a schedule while under the supervision at his parents' home. In Arlene, prosecutors opposed that decision. Ravalli County Sheriff Steve Holt confirmed that the Ravalli County Sheriff Office is still investigating the felony theft of 2 adult miniature beagles that occurred in January. The male and the pregnant female are believed to have been taken from private property located south of Hamilton. Holden said the dogs were discovered deceased and dumped in the Lake Como area in late March. Investigators believe the female had delivered and nursed the puppies, who are now believed to be approximately 7 to 8 weeks old. Anyone with information about who may have these puppies or be responsible for the dogs' deaths is asked to call 363-3033. Well, consumers here in Missoula have the opportunity to buy a very unusual product to help with their gardening this spring. The Missoula Urban Demonstration Project, or MUD, is hosting its annual llama poo sale. That's right. MUD Executive Director Ellie Costello explains why they're selling a llama poo to people.
We're selling the poo because llama poo and alpaca poo, and this is a mix of those two, it's a manure that you can add straight to your garden, and it won't be so intense that it'll burn the plants. Some things are too high in nitrogen, and they need to break down and compost a little first. This you can just throw right in the beds and enrich your soil and get a lot of nutrients to the plants right away.
According to Costello, the proceeds of the Poo fundraiser will go directly to support 2 local nonprofits. The MUD Project will receive half. The rest goes to the Safe Haven Llama Sanctuary in Corvallis.
It's $15 a bag, and it's $10 for a bucket. The buckets are about half of the poo that you get in one of the bags, but you get a bucket along with it. Those are available, and if we sell out, we'll try to go get more for folks, but we might not be able to.
Costello said the poo's on sale now at 1527 Wyoming Street. And there you go. Newstalk time now, 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station. An isolated shower will be possible early today. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with our high temperatures in the low 50s. Patchy fog tonight, overnight lows around the freezing mark. We'll see showers returning late Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for NBC Montana.